On this edition of Good Day DePaul, the hurricanes in the south impact some DePaul students.
Bike lanes, a controversy in Lincoln Park near DePaul.
And the DePaul men's basketball season is now underway. I'm Morgan Kirsch.
And I'm Nathan Wiegraff, and this is Good Day DePaul.
In the South, people are still recovering from hurricanes Helene and Milton, and here at DePaul, some students from those areas are also feeling the impact. I recently met with two of those students. Hurricanes Helene and Milton caused devastating damage to the southeastern United States. Toppled trees, flooding, high winds, tornadoes, and damaged power lines have left communities in disarray as the federal government and local organizations assist in recovery efforts. Some DePaul students from the South learned of the impact the hurricanes left on their family, friends, and neighbors back home. Sarah McFeely is a DePaul student from South Carolina.
I have family members that are still without power weeks later who are basically camping right now because their homes are uninhabitable because of the flooding. And even in my own hometown, I have a lot of neighbors and family friends who can't live in their houses right now because trees have fallen through the roof or because their basements have flooded.
The Category 4 Hurricane Helene hit Florida's Big Bend region on September 26th. Helene continued across Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee in a 500-mile path of destruction. Less than 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton hit Florida near Siesta Key before crossing into the Atlantic. Helene had especially devastating effects on North Carolina. Aaron Rigsby, a resident of Asheville, North Carolina, saw the impact of the hurricane firsthand.
Man, once we got back to see this devastation on the mountain, I mean, you'd have never thought a hurricane in Asheville, and then, I don't know, we had a tornado or something up here. It's just, it'll be years and years, because some people, like across the street, they're not going to clean that up.
Asheville is one of the hardest hit regions in Buncombe County. The floods and mudslides closed hundreds of roads, damaged the water system, and shut down cell service. Francesca Corona, a DePaul student from Waxhaw, North Carolina, notes the strength of the recovering Asheville community.
I know some people who go to the university there in Asheville, and just the way that they can rally together and support one another through this is, I kind of wish I could be there in person to see it.
Over 230 people died from Helene across several states. North Carolina's Department of Health and Human Services recently reported 98 people lost their lives in that state. Members of McFeely's family have felt that loss too.
Like one of my cousins, a close friend of hers, her husband and one of her children unfortunately died due to the flooding. I think both of them drowned. We have extended family members going to funerals right now for people who perished during the flooding.
Boone, North Carolina also saw major damage from sinkholes, flooding, and collapsed roads. Corona describes how one of her friends, who attends Appalachian State University, dealt with the challenges of the hurricane.
So the flooding, it completely took over roads, and there were so many potholes. I know my best friend, she told me how she couldn't get home because all the roads were closed because there were so many sinkholes because of the flooding.
In North Carolina, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has approved over $156 million in housing and other types of assistance for more than 107,000 households. In response to the damages, local universities like Appalachian State are also stepping up to provide community aid.
I know that they opened up their gym and had a relief shelter, and they had a bunch of donations there because a lot of people lost, their space of living.
McFeely hopes the hurricanes will spark more climate change conversation.
I think it's definitely highlighted how pressing of an issue climate change is. I feel like every year it's like you hear about a different hurricane happening or if not a hurricane, some other huge disaster that costs tons of lives and property damage. That's not normal. That shouldn't be normalized.
Corona says that even after several weeks, people are still suffering from the hurricanes.
People are still rebuilding. People are still grieving over the losses of their memories and their homes and, family and friends. So it's just, I really want people to know that just because it's over doesn't mean that the people in that area are over it.
Relief efforts are underway. Across the affected states, the federal government has approved over $833 million to support survivors with housing repairs, personal property replacement, and other essential recovery efforts. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Morgan Kirsch.
A new report says freshman enrollment at colleges is down from last year. The report comes from the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. It finds that freshman enrollment nationwide has dropped 5% from last year. Here at DePaul, 2,566 freshmen are enrolled this year, a drop from 377 freshman students from last year. A controversy over bike lanes in Lincoln Park, and it centered just minutes from DePaul's campus. I talked to people on both sides of the issue. City officials have now revamped the controversial landing at the far east end of the Dickens Greenway. Stockton Landing, an area reserved for cyclists and pedestrians, was completed in December of last year in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood near the DePaul campus. It allowed for cyclists and pedestrians to travel in both directions on the one-way portion of Dickens Avenue and barred car traffic in that area.
Landings are usually designed for safety purposes in areas where various modes of transportation are being used, but some community members expressed frustration over the landing's installation.
There's no need for this. This is a solution waiting for a problem, and it's not going to work out well.
Now the city has changed the Greenway landing and re-established a lane of traffic for cars along the strip. The alderman for this area, Timothy Knudsen, says this was done because closing the area to traffic was, in his words, inconvenient and confusing for pedestrians, bikers, and vehicles. But some bicyclists and others oppose this and feel cars should be prohibited. Recently, over 100 bicycle riders held a protest bike ride in the area.
I bike to campus almost every day, and I'm kind of really disappointed that the city would take away something that makes it safer for bikers, and it also feels like they're prioritizing drivers over the safety of pedestrians.
DePaul professor Joseph Schwederman studies transportation policy and urban planning and says the city should do more to promote biking and public transit.
It is an unfortunate reality that the first phase of creating bike lanes went so smoothly for the city. Of course, there was opposition, but it was manageable. Now we've become almost a point in society where everything gets fought tooth and nail.
And those fights are likely to continue as the controversy over bike lanes continues to play out in Chicago and the rest of the nation. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Nathan Wiegraff.
A former DePaul official is under fire at Valparaiso University in Indiana. The Valparaiso Faculty Senate recently passed a resolution of no confidence in Jose Padilla, the university president. The Senate claims Padilla has failed the university, saying he did not fulfill his fundraising responsibilities and did not improve student enrollment and retention. Valparaiso's faculty also reportedly voted in favor of the vote of no confidence. But the university's board of directors came out in support of Padilla, saying they stand by him to move the university forward. Padilla previously served 15 years in senior leadership roles at DePaul, most recently as vice president, general counsel, and secretary.
Coming up, students find community in campus housing.
That story and more next on Good Day DePaul.
2004 Skateboard Championship.
High school, moped.
How about you, Slim? Anything?
Something.
Looks like Slim's got a little paper cut.
It's nothing.
Come on, man. No, I'm gonna make you tell me.
Hey, kidney transplant.
When, dude? I didn't know you were sick.
I was donating it.
Someone in your family?
You gave your kidney to a complete stranger?
Yeah, saved his life.
Wow. All right. Everyone can save a life by being a living organ donor on matchingdonors.com.
For some students, college can feel lonely and isolated, but others have found community right on campus in university housing. Good Day DePaul's Riley Moulton has details.
For students across the country, living on campus can be a defining moment in their college experience. Campus housing at DePaul has become a lively community hub where students form friendships and build lasting memories. Peyton Volk, who lived on campus her freshman year at DePaul, enjoyed it so much, leading her to work for campus housing.
My favorite part about working in the dorms is getting to see the new freshman body. It's just so funny watching them every year because I'm like, was that really me freshman year? It gives me some perspective.
Whether it's University Hall, Monroe, Ozanam, or any of the engaging dorms across both DePaul's campuses, students are ensured to make lasting memories that will stick with them.
For first-year students especially, living on campus can help ease the transition from high school by fostering a community immediately. This turns dorm living into more than just a place to sleep.
Ray Perales shared her thoughts, especially living in the dorms right after COVID.
I was really close with a lot of girls on my floor, so I came from being like the youngest of 5 siblings, and so I was always kind of like, you're too young, you're like whatever. But then when I came here, it was like everyone was so cute and close. It was post-COVID, so everyone was so excited to be with other people. So yeah, no, it was great. I loved it.
As DePaul University continues to innovate its housing, the future promises even more ways to connect, grow, and thrive. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Riley Moulton.
In sports, the DePaul men's basketball season is underway. The Blue Demons beat Illinois Wesleyan 76-70 in an exhibition game. The team has a new coach, Chris Holtman, and an all-new roster.
In volleyball, the Blue Demons ran their Big East record to 7-3 with a win over UConn.
In men's soccer, DePaul has lost 3 out of their last 4, falling to Georgetown recently 4-0. The Blue Demons are now 1-4-2 in Big East Conference play.
In women's soccer, DePaul is now 3-3-3 in conference play, following a win over St. John's.
Next on Good Day DePaul, what happens when you combine computer science with history and writing?
We'll find out when we come back.
There are a ton of social networking websites, but one stands apart for a very special reason. This one saves lives. It's matchingdonors.com. Matchingdonors.com links living organ donors with people in need of kidney and other transplants. In the United States, 22 people die each day waiting for an organ transplant, most of them for kidneys. If you've ever considered becoming a living organ donor, or if you are someone in need of an organ transplant, visit matchingdonors.com, home of the greatest gift of all, the gift of life. Matchingdonors.com.
CDM School of Computing has 2 new degree programs this fall, and they combine computer science with history and writing. The programs are known as CS+X and offer a double major approach. The goal is to help computer scientists develop a deeper understanding of how their software, systems, and products affect others, and hopefully become thoughtful and effective in various fields.
That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube.
And if you have any news tips, message us through the Good Day DePaul social media channels.
Thanks for watching. I'm Nathan Wiegraff.
And I'm Morgan Kirsch. Have a good day, DePaul.